Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and/or its affiliate and subordinate ministries and/or nonprofits. Some of this content may be adult in nature, so please use discretion as you watch with our kids. I said discretion. Sorry.
You did.
Let's be discreet about it. Good morning. Yeah, you want to turn your headphones down. Coming to you live from Acts Media Group headquarters here in the beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late today due to a bit of a technical glitch, followed by necessary coffee. So today we're talking about the necessities of outdoor life and survival.
Okay.
Did I put that on there?
Did you get an article?
Yeah, I got an article. I tried to send it to you, but I just ended up sending you the website's link, not the actual article. So, all right. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
And we're glad to have you guys on board with us today.
And Bird.
So you got to ask yourself a couple of questions there.
I do.
Yeah, whenever we're talking about outdoor stuff, all right? I have here from Tactology.com an article about 59 survival tips and tricks to prepare you for the outdoor and wilderness. And this works for camping as well, or forced camping, which means if you're lost out in the wilderness somewhere or, what have you. So I'm not saying that anything's going to happen where you need to survive out in the wilderness, but sometimes there's just a couple things that you need to know, just to kind of know, hey, I know a little bit about what to do if I get stuck out in the woods somewhere. Number one thing you need something to start a fire with, water, and a good knife. Those are three, and some rope. And a tarp.
Yeah. Yep.
Things like that.
Yes.
So you are sharing this, aren't
Liked and shared.
Like and share, like and
I am
share,
there. I am
like
there.
and share,
I'm
like
with
and
you, bro.
share.
I'm on the website. I'm watching.
Are you on the website of watching?
Yeah.
I'm on the website watching after midnight, if it's in Australia. Anyways.
A1 Barney.
A1
That's
Barney.
where this music was brought to you by.
Oh man, I still didn't get it all completely leveled out from where the camera was kicked.
Oh, and look.
You gonna drag it up?
No.
What are you doing?
You'll see. Is that what they're seeing?
No, they're not seeing that. No. I am wearing my sleeveless shirt today because I wore this to work last night, and hey, sorry about that. If my sleeveless shirt offends you, the Great Outdoor Survival is what I titled today's show. Necessities for outdoor survival. And yesterday we talked about good camping places for motorcycle camping. Life in general has become increasingly more comfortable and, dare I say, easily over the last century or so. Well, at least in the modern world, and easier. So yeah, we as humans have developed an unsettling dependence on technology for everything. Now think about it. Name the thing in your house that you can actually make from scratch. I bet you can't. We live in a culture where we just buy things that we need. We are so coddled that a simple problem like a power outage leaves us in a frenzy.
I bet I can.
I bet you can. You can, yes. I don't know what kind of lumber you would make a toaster out of, but I'm sure you could figure it out.
Any kind of lumber, man, as long as you got a fire starter.
Right?
You got toast.
And don't get me wrong, that's all fine and dandy for the good times.
Don't burn very well, but
what if times turn? What if you find yourself in a challenging situation away from all your friends, gadgets, and thingamajigs? What if you can't just buy your way out? And what if your life depends on getting out of that bind, do you think that you have the skills, the know-how, the presence of mind to handle a situation like that? For most people, the answer to this question is a resounding no. Do you see the irony? Well, we know more about how the universe was created than how to make fire without any gadgets.
Yeah.
This is actually, so far, I'm digging this article.
Yeah.
So,
So what term is this? Long term or how long?
I think it's just,
'Cause
however,
when they talk about making anything in your house, I'm assuming they mean long term, like apocalypse.
yeah, I mean, it could be either or.
Yeah, because
Like if the power goes
clothing
up,
is going to be the well, all of the things are going to be a problem, but long term, you're going to be clothing. You need to prepare for making that, and it takes a lot of
Johnny
preparation
Rooster
to
says
make
my arms are buff.
textiles.
Okay, so thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that. Good morning, Larry Melton, Steve Schultz, Johnny Rooster. Don't burn lumber, sell it. Someone has a
Unless
picture.
you need toast, and you got to make a toaster.
Somebody had a splinter in their finger just on that top layer of skin is real up close. It says, I ended up shoplifting $100 worth of lumber from Lowe's today.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Oh boy.
Larry is still in the ER at Mercy. What are you in the ER for, Larry? What did you do?
I think it's back probably.
Oh, man.
'Cause he
Pray
was
for
really hurt.
Pray for one of my friends from work. He's in the hospital with COVID right now.
Oh,
Him and his wife both
did we
are in
get
the hospital with
feedback about why?
COVID. No, not yet. I mean, he may have. My thing is not updating like it's supposed to.
Yeah, what?
Like, my Facebook on here, the comments aren't updating properly.
Proper?
So I should probably look
I
up.
don't think any of it's working properly.
It's like today is like in a day. Don't burn lumber, sell it. That's what Steve Schultz says.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, table of oh wait, I'll wait until after our commercial break, before I get into the necessities of that. So we'll be right back.
Enter the talent contest at Axe Fest. $10 entry, $50 to winner. Axe Media Group.
Your sandwich was so limited.
Your sandwich had a lot of butt.
Something ain't right about the volume on that, is it?
No. Sit tight, everybody.
That ain't it.
Yeah, you probably have to actually.
It's probably the air conditioning in that other room.
Think so? It's
Probably.
Not going.
I know we had to shut it off before because you could hear it.
And I don't think it's I don't think it's actually going there.
So the commercial didn't play very loud, and I don't have it on here.
Oh,
it's
go
It's
to
already
the
all the way up.
go to the
Roland.
the Roland and do from the computer. So they probably heard it just fine. We
So
just
from
didn't.
PC is all the way up to 0,
Okay. And what about the others? Two PC.
all the way up. I turned them all the way up.
Okay. What about
Oh,
There's-
it's not connected.
well, that would explain that. Try that.
Well, that is maybe a problem. There we go.
I bet you we'll be able to hear it better next time.
I bet we will.
So that's how you do it.
I'm sure of it, and it's resetting our memories every time. So when we have a memory, something on memory,
Yeah.
like if we save these settings,
It resets them.
it resets them to whatever it is when you shut it down.
It's crazy. And then we had a glitch. When I got here, you looked a little stressed out. Whenever I got here. Bless your heart. And then I go over there and hit the button and I don't know. And then there was something we did earlier and I didn't even do anything and it started working again. It's the mechanic's butt syndrome is what it is. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, when you're sitting on it,
Yeah.
it's not.
Whenever like you get your car, Dad told me all kinds of stuff about that. About how somebody would say it would mess up every time it was away from the shop, but every time Dad got in it to find out what it was doing, it wouldn't malfunction.
He also used to love the way people explained what it was doing.
Oh yeah, the sounds people would make.
Yeah,
What kind of noise is that making? What was that? How did that go again? That's so funny.
Yeah.
And I've been guilty of that before, saying, "Hey, Dad, it's making like a wing, wing, click, 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 click noise." Sounds like your evaporator's not working.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Outdoor survival is not easy.
No.
I mean, it's a.
I see all these things on television that like tells you he hit a street sweeper and broke 3 ribs. Now, Larry,
He what? Ran it like walked into it or hit it with his car?
are you a glutton for punishment, Larry? Internet hit a brick wall earlier. Laugh out loud. Thomas Knipp, welcome to the party.
Hey, Thomas.
He says, "Well, hi, Jay." And he
Yeah.
said it was loud. The commercial was loud. We just didn't hear it. I
Ah.
hit a street sweeper and broke 3 ribs. And then he thumbs up. And then
Did you
Steve
break your
says,
car?
"Hear better now." Huh?
Did you break your car?
I was going to say, I didn't break my car. Did you break your car, your truck? What'd you do, man?
Yeah. What's up?
We need to know this stuff.
Come on, Larry. Let us hear it. We
Nope.
need stories.
Now, most people don't think about basic survival skills as something that they must acquire. Most of the people that I talk to believe that they will never end up in a survival situation. I will tell you what I say to those people. You don't plan to get into a situation like that. It just happens. And God forbid, should such a situation arise, you must be prepared. Now, I'm not saying that everything must go through a military style survival training or everyone must go through a military style survival training, although you totally could if you liked. You must
Did
know.
you interject that or was that in the
No,
article?
that was interjected. I just read it like that. That's because it was in parentheses.
Ah.
You must know some basic survival tips and tricks. These tips and tricks can be the difference between life and death. So, yeah, there are more important things than knowing what happens. I'm sorry. So, yeah, they are more important than knowing what happens in the next episode of your favorite show. Now, you might ask yourself, what survival skills and techniques saved me? Well, nothing, because I haven't been in. I was just reading this article. I've been in numerous tricky situations myself, and I always found my way out. You know why? Because I applied some basic survival tips that I learned throughout my life. Today, I'm going to share some of those skills and tips with you guys. Trust me when I say that these tips and tricks can save your life one day. So please read this article in its full length, bookmark it, share it with your friends, print it out, or best memorize the tips and learn how to not die in an unfavorable situation. I like what this guy writes. He writes like I talk.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I was able to sound like I actually interjected that myself. I have to keep refreshing my Facebook thing on here to be able to catch all the comments.
Oh, does it go to sleep?
No, it's just not updating. Now, do I need to update this thing? Does this thing have any updates? Matt and Jay, good morning, says Velma. Ouch.
morning.
Prying for you. That's what Thomas Knipp said. I know you meant praying. I'm just, being an honor thing. So here in just a second, we're going to go through, we still got a couple minutes too.
I'm liking and loving this. I'm going to say good morning to everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. It's great to stay up late. All right. So,
It's working, man.
Is it? 'Tis indeed. It's working indeed. Yes,
Oh,
it
no.
is. What?
Mine didn't show up yet either.
I know. It's like,
My
what's
own
up?
comment.
Yo.
Oh, still didn't.
He's like, oh, still didn't.
It's a good thing.
Get
It's
us
a Google
all.
thing.
You got me all excited.
Yeah.
It probably is a Google thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of frustrating.
Coin.
Corner. So I found a hat that I want, where I got the coffee deal. I want it's it says need more sleep, and it looks just like the But First coffee hat, but it
Yeah.
says need more sleep,
Yeah.
which works.
Try getting some quality clothes nowadays too. Something that's going to last. Whew.
Yeah,
It's all out of stock.
it is. It is. In lumber, forget about it.
Yeah.
Number 1, tip and trick. These are the tips and tricks to surviving out in the wilderness. Number 1, stay calm.
Well, yeah, that's important.
Because if you freak out, you're not going to help anything.
And you're going to
At
burn
all.
a ton of calories and
Yeah.
all kinds of body chemistry goes on.
Oh, yeah. Finding yourself in a survival situation can be extremely unsettling. I mean, it's not like you practice getting in such cases every day, right? Most people can get very nervous and panic in situations like these. This outdoor survival skill can alone save your life in many situations. Now, don't get me wrong, it is entirely understandable, however, that if you want to get out of the situation, you must rely on sound judgment. If you are agitated, overly anxious, or panicking, your brain will not think properly. First thing that you must tell yourself is to take a deep breath and try to control your anxiety and panic. In all likelihood, you are in a much less dangerous situation than you may believe at the moment. If you keep a cool head, you will soon start seeing ways to get out of your bind. Getting out of a tricky situation requires a sound and rational approach. If you are not thinking right, you will not be able to put any of the following tips to use. So, first things first, get a grip on your emotions and start devising a plan.
Devising a plan, very important. That
Yep.
can help you get a grip on your emotions.
Yes. It's actually all. Why is it that microphone sounds like it's farting?
It's yours, isn't it?
It's I don't know, it's a static discharge of some sort. I think it's that one because it used to do that when it was plugged in during the Veterans Church. Anyways, so we got 1 minute till the next commercial, and then we will go on with number 2. Ready? I am
Oh.
ready. I am ready when you are.
Guess who cleans for less? Who? Me? No. Him.
How do we get back into the workforce?
I got you.
Who was that woman?
How do we get back into the workforce?
Okay, so
I know that lady. She's absolutely wonderful.
she is wonderful.
You really ought to meet her, even if you're not looking for a job.
Give her a high five.
Yep.
You know, because
Very
everybody needs a high five from time
Was
to
that
time.
commercial too? It was.
Yeah, it sure was.
What
Dawn,
would your plan?
Dawn Blackard is on with us in the comments, and she posted a steepandcheap.com. I guess it has the best outdoor clothes for the best price. They also have camping gear. That was from Dawn Blackard. Good morning, Dawn Blackard. Visit her and Lynn Morris on Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock for Changing Times.
Ah.
I
would head downhill and keep my eye open for containers and any other
Good
debris
morning,
that might have
Stacey
been
Whittaker.
trash at one time that could then be helpful.
Yes. Number 2. This is step number 2. Set your priorities right. The key to successful survival is getting your priorities in order when you are stranded. You have a lot on your plate. If you don't prioritize, you will have huge problems. I know it's huge, but I just
Huge.
like saying huge because it's funny. Despite what you may think at that time, food is not a priority at all. Not your priority at all. As we just saw in the rule of threes, lack of food won't kill you for 3 days. Your priority is staying warm if it's cold outside. Try to stay as dry as possible. Wet skin loses 3 times more heat than dry skin. And if your pants get wet, make sure that you get rid of them and try to dry them.
Yep.
Pro tips. If you are in warm, dry weather, water is your top priority. Make sure that you get access to water first before you do anything else. Assuming that you are lost, another important priority will be signaling. Now, we have covered how to make a smoke signal in a great detail in the following sections. So, and none of that helps.
It's not this mic, is it?
I think it is. Because if I go mute it, it probably will stop.
Oh.
Let me see. You want me to go see?
No.
Okay. It just sounds
So,
like somebody moaning. and
If
groaning.
you are in a warm, dry climate,
water is
water.
your number one priority.
so what we got first, stay calm, make
Yep.
a plan,
Yep. Number 2, prioritize.
prioritize.
And number 3, by prioritizing, if your clothes are wet, get rid of them and try to get them dry.
Yeah,
So warmth is your priority. Food is not your main priority because You can go 3 days. You can actually go longer than that without food.
3 days is water.
Yeah,
without
3
dining.
days without water. Yeah. So, but if you're in a hot, dry climate, it's less than 3 days. So be sure. Be sure.
That's why I say downhill, because usually downhill is where you find the water.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it goes. Water
Yeah.
goes downhill.
Other things roll downhill too.
And look for a container along the way because,
You'll need something to scoop that water with.
yes, and usually a metal container, like an old can or something like that, then you can heat the water.
Yep. Site can't be reached. What? Reload. Huh. Well, I tell you what, Google acts really weird. sometimes.
Shelter
Shelter. That's part of staying warm. Too.
within
Warm and
24
dry.
hours.
Yep. Pam Whiting says good information. Jana Hale says she shared. Good morning. It's good to see you. We're glad you're on board this morning. Today we're talking about important stuff. Number three, starting a fire. This is imperative for staying warm. Besides, keeping dry. Now, fire is the one thing that we almost always take for granted. It is there when we need it. Just light a match or press a button on your lighter, and poof, the fire is there. Things are not that simple in the wild. You may have any of these gadgets, or they won't work. You should be able to improvise and start a fire. Now, there are 3 things needed to start a fire: fuel, oxygen, and a spark. Jay. Sounds like somebody's farting. The two there. Okay, so the 2 of these that are fuel, oxygen, and spark. You have 2 of these in abundance in the wild. There is almost unlimited amount of fuel in the form of twigs, branches, and dry leaves, and there is oxygen all around. What you are missing is the spark or heat. So let's see what we can do to make that spark or heat happen.
Good luck.
I'm sorry. I want to try something. This is going to be great. Tell me if it goes away.
It's gone, bro.
We've had that problem a lot with that microphone in the past. It's like a weird staticky discharge. All right. So I have to keep refreshing this this page in order to.
Oh. That's right. I got it. Oh.
All right. So here's what you need: flint and steel. Now I keep a flint and steel rod in my car with a magnesium block. One thing I know you can use is you can take cotton balls and you can put these in a plastic baggie, a Ziploc baggie, or in a can or a plastic jug or some sort, or a jar, and soak them in Vaseline or petroleum jelly.
Yeah.
And those are good fuel. Those are good for because they burn for a long time and it helps to get the fire started easier. But I keep flint and steel and magnesium in my deal. I also keep a lighter.
Make charcoal. Well, you need the fire first.
Yeah. So
Good
flint
luck.
and steel
It's not easy. Starting
Now-
a fire out in the wild without a lighter,
is difficult.
even if you have flint and steel, even if you have a ferro rod.
You have
It's
to have
not easy.
really good. Now they have these things that are really cool.
Well, in the conditions where you need them the most, besides cooking and preparing water, like for shelter wise, like heat and being able to dry out and stuff like that,
Mhm.
those conditions aren't good for lighting fires. But
No.
that's when you need the fire.
Especially if you're really cold and you're in a hurry.
Yeah, hypothermia is not a good thing.
No. So flint and steel. Now, if you start getting cold, you need to just start doing jumping jacks and exercising and stuff. That'll bring
Then
your
you're
body
burning
temperature up.
calories.
Yes, you are burning calories, but you're also warming your body up.
Yep.
Like if you're wet, if your clothes are wet, lay them out to dry and do a bunch of jumping jacks.
Yeah.
And some push-ups while it's drying. You strip down, stretch it out on a rock in the sun somewhere, and do jumping jacks and push-ups and what have you while it's drying, and that helps keep you warm at the same time your clothes are drying.
Yeah.
So that's one thing you can do in a worst case scenario. But flint and steel are probably the oldest tricks to start a fire. All you need to do is strike the flint against the steel to make a spark. And you can buy portable steel and flint sets cheap these days, and you should probably invest in one of those. They cost less than your morning cup of coffee, and coffee isn't going to save your life, although it may save other people's lives that are around you. So,
Yeah.
an improvised magnifying glass. That's one thing you could use.
That's
What if you don't carry a flint and steel with you? Well, you can use the power of the sun to start a fire. All you need to do is put some water in a clear plastic bag and tie it like a balloon, as spherical as possible. And when you hold this bag against the sun, you will see a familiar converging of the sun rays on the ground. If you keep focusing the bright light into some dry kindle, you will soon start a fire. The focal length of your improvised device is smaller than a magnifying glass, so you will have to hold the improvised device about 1 to 2 inches from the kindling. You can also use a condom to the same effect. I did not know that.
fill it with water?
Yeah. Just remember that the more transparent the bag or condom is, the quicker it will heat the kindling. Number 4, smoke signal. And we'll get back to that here in just a second. Steve Schultz says, that's too much work. Go to a motel. If you smoke, use your lighter. I keep a lighter even though I don't smoke anymore. I keep a couple lighters in my car.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that you have already begun a fire. Okay, so making a smoke signal. Assuming that you have already begun a fire successfully, next step is to let potential rescuers know your position. If the woods are thick, it can become impossible to see through the canopy, even if your search party is looking for you from a helicopter. So let them know where you are. You need some signal. A smoke signal was one of the oldest ways to communicate long before the ages of cell phones. You can use this method to attract attention to yourself. Creating a smoke signal is easy. All you need to do is burn something that would create thick smoke, and the smoke will do the rest for you. Here are the steps that you can follow to make a smoke signal. Find a good location, light a fire, and make smoke. Gather the leafy green vegetation that you can find and throw it on the embers. Cover them completely, and it will create a lot of smoke depending on the greens that you chose. Pine and spruce leaves make thick smoke if you can find some. Throw them in as well. A synthetic material such as plastic or rubber also produces dense smoke. Now, how to start and sustain a fire in wet weather. Now, this is something that you're versed in, and it takes a lot of patience.
Yes.
You might also carry with you
In preparation.
kindling or that stuff. What do they call it? That
Tinder.
tinder. They actually have pre-made tinder that you can carry with you that you pull pieces out and put it in there, put some twigs on it.
Sharp knife is good.
Sharp
thing to
knife,
have.
yes.
Make tinder.
Sharp knife is imperative. I've got 3 of them in my car right now. And I also carry one with me. So always, you never underestimate the power of a good knife.
Yep.
Or the usability and the usefulness.
And a way to sharpen it.
And a way to sharpen it, which, I'm really good at sharpening things on rocks, but not like an actual stone.
Well,
like a sharpening
making
stone.
tinder, it has to be really sharp.
Yeah, because you have to shave it.
Real thin, yeah.
Are you happy or are you married? Sorry. Like a bar. I watched that. Okay, that was on the Three Stooges one time. The guy's like, go shave some ice, dummy. And he goes into a big old huge block of ice and he puts shaving cream on it and starts shaving it, a big old block of ice. And he's like, so are you happy or are you married? I remember that from when I was a kid. Anyways. I'm not letting you talk very much. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
How do you start and sustain a fire in wet weather? If the weather is wet, it can be incredibly difficult to initiate and maintain a fire. However, certain tips and tricks can help you. The most important thing to remember is that if you get the fire raging, it will probably sustain light rain.
Yeah.
Again, don't expect your fire to burn through a tropical thunderstorm. Here are some great tips to start and maintain a fire in wet weather. Number 1, avoid the pit. If the weather is dry, digging a small hole will keep your firewood is a good idea. However, in wet weather, the pit can quickly fill up with rainwater. Skip the pit if it's raining. Look for dry pieces of wood. Now, before you can say, duh, hear me out. It can be difficult to find dry wood if it has been raining for a while. However, you can look for pieces of sticks that are under the thick trees. There's a good chance that you may find some dry place there. Also, a piece of wood can look wet on the outside, when in fact it can be dry on the inside. If you peel off the bark from a piece of wood, you can find some dry, usable wood.
Standing dead wood, yeah. It's easy to find.
Standing dead wood.
But then you have to process it. So again, the sharp knife.
Exactly. So you have to trim away the wet and get to the dry.
This stuff really takes preparation.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you're making tools out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck even if you're well prepared. Really.
Stacy Wedeking says, "Hi, Jay.
Hi, Stacy.
Use pine and needle bearing leaves. These trees exude a sticky substance called pitch, and it is highly flammable substance that you can use to maintain a fire in the light rain or wet conditions. I didn't know that.
What?
That
pitch? Is
Yeah.
Flammable? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
pine trees.
Yep.
And needle bearing trees. So the sticky stuff that's on them is flammable.
Yes. Like kerosene.
Really? So it doesn't explode or go up. It just, once you get it lit, it sustains a fire.
Yeah. So
Really
you
well.
need tinder to get a spark into, and then you need, not tinder, but what's the finer one? I think it's tinder, but you need that to get the fire going. But then once
Yeah,
you get
because there's
an
tinder
actual
and then there's
flame-
kindling.
Yeah. Once you get an actual flame, then you can light it, but you can't really light it very well with a spark.
Gotcha.
But
Kind of like,
it will burn in rain.
oh, okay, because it's an oil.
Yeah.
Based substance.
I've got some.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
I've got some.
You
Yeah.
do?
Mhm.
Did you just find some? And
No,
even
it
if they're
was-
dry?
Oh yeah. No, they don't have to be dry.
But I mean, even if they are dry, they still work the same?
Yeah, dry or wet.
Oh. They probably sell it, don't they? Pitch.
Well, trees make it for free.
Oh, so you just like on one of your outings, you find a bunch of
Well,
needles.
there's a place near here where there's a campground. I mean, it might be harder to find, but anywhere you see pine, especially if you have a long dead standing tree, and like even a small tree, you know,
use twigs from it.
that's been standing up dead for a long time, a
Yeah.
pine tree. No, you take your knife and you chop out the knots, or you dig up the roots, because
Really?
all of the sap that's in it will collect in the knots and in the roots.
I did not.
And then
know
that
that.
wood is like a kerosene stick.
Huh.
And it doesn't
fire
gas
starter.
off like a kerosene
Right.
stick. So it won't dry out. It's good forever. It's like a,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because once it heats up, it melts and it catches. Or like a petroleum type product.
sort of, yeah. It's
Hmm.
pretty cool. I can show you. I've got a piece.
I did not.
I've
I
got
did.
some
I
of them.
honestly didn't know that. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're at a place where there's pine needles in
Higher
abundance,
elevation. Seek a higher elevation.
Grab
where
a
there's
bunch of
more
them.
pine.
is what you're saying. Grab a bunch of them.
What?
If you're in a place where there's pine needles everywhere, grab a whole bunch of them.
Pine needles?
Yes,
Not so much pine needles.
because this
They
says
absorb
pine.
a lot of water. Well,
Well-
they do burn good, but they absorb water easily in the environment, but it's the pitch and the the knots in a dead standing tree, or a tree, even a tree that's fallen, that's been there for a while. If the bark's already all gone off of it, usually it's been there long enough for all
Oh,
of
yeah, that's
that
right. It says pine needle bearing
pine
leaves.
Yeah.
Use pine and needle bearing leaves.
Yeah.
Got it. Took me a second.
Pine or needle bearing leaves. Yeah, pine cones are good because they usually have a lot of sap in them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And they smell good when you burn
But
them.
you need an open flame to get those. And that's
Yeah.
the hardest part, is
Is getting the open
converting a
flame.
spark into an open flame is very difficult.
Guys, I
Even in
offer
dry
a fire
weather.
building class at my Rural Adventures site. I didn't know that. Pay attention to the shape of the fire lay. The form of the pyre or the fire lay is critical, especially if you were trying to light it in a wet environment. Make sure that the shape of the fire lay is as conical as possible. What does that mean, conical? Conical. If your fire lay is flat and scattered, it is going to be put out by the rain quicker. I found a video that's extremely useful and watch-worthy if you want to make a fire in wet weather. So Google that and it'll show you, or you can go to Johnny's house. Make a char cloth. This is number 6. Once you get a fire going, it is important to make provisions for the next one.
Yeah.
You must make sure that the next fire that you start does not require the amount of work that was needed to start the first one. There are a couple of things that you can do to achieve it. Make a char cloth. Note, this is one of the biggest hurdles in starting a fire, is finding the right kind of kindling. If you can make a kindling that can catch fire quickly, you have half of your work cut out.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
One of the best fuels that you can use is char cloth. Now take a small piece of cloth and shove it in a metal box or a container. Make sure that the container has sealed. Throw it in the fire and let the container burn in the fire for a few minutes. Remove it from the fire, let it cool. If you did it right, the cloth inside will be completely black, but not burnt.
You poke a hole in the top, and when there's no more smoke coming out, then it should be.
Yeah, and this
Not a big hole. But
Yeah, the char cloth, it catches fire with the smallest of sparks. Vaseline-soaked cotton balls, that's another one. And it's about time for us to get out of here. We're
it
done.
is time to get out of here.
So be sure and tune in next for a live on the scene at Ozark Park with Johnny Rooster on the Morning Mouth, followed by a classic episode of Open Ended with Peggy Lee and Jeff with a G. So just remember, we'll be back. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the Morning Drive today. We'll be back on Monday, same time, same channel. Thanks, Jay. Sorry I talked most of the time today.
That's good.
So until then, my friends, may God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
and this has been The
The
Morning
Morning
Drive.
Drive.